Hello again. We are back with the Tr7 and we're going to get ready to get this thing fired all the way up, hopefully. So, as you know, or if you don't know, I got the carburetors off of the other Tr7. That's going to be our parts car. Now these, he said, have been rebuilt and they've just been sitting. I don't think they ran any gas through them. So I just snatched off the whole intake, carburetors and all. Those carburetors are hard to get off on the intake. I mean, the bolts are like way back up on the back side down here at the back. So you have to have like a good shorty wrench or something to get to them. Probably see one. Well, I can show you better on this car. So these are these on this car, and there's a bolt there. Like I said, you gotta have a short wrench, a box end wrench, but you can't get to the other side. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I'm just gonna swap the whole intake with the carburetors on it. I think I gotta change this thermostat housing piece because this is different on the other car. I thought about just taking the carburetors off once I got them off and just put them back on this original intake. I don't know, might be not worth it. I mean, the only thing different in the housing is just you add antifreeze here. So I guess I could just put the housing on. I don't know yet. I'm going to get it off and see how bad it is with it off. But that's what we're basically doing now. I'm going to go ahead and swap these carbs over, because this one right here, the floats is stuck in it, which it probably can be cleaned up and everything. But since those have been rebuilt with kits, I would really just put the whole thing over on there and start fresh, hopefully. So that's what my plan is, to swap those carbs over and hopefully get this thing fired up. So another day, a new project, and so hopefully we can get it running on its own. And we got some more goodies for it once I find the goodie box. Where is the goodie box? This right here is a bunch of brand new stuff for it. We got brand new choke cables. See, it says choke on there, which is 2 of them, I believe. It's a double cable. Brand new clutch master cylinder. There's a brand new fuel sending unit. Brake liner. In case we drop the gas tank. Here is the Pt.3 cylinder. I think that is a rebuilt kit for the wheel cylinders. New thermostat. And a bunch of other goodies in there. That's all Tr7. So, like I say, we're going to get it where it cranks on its own, it runs, and then we'll get this baby hopefully down the road for the first time in how many ever years. So I did get some of the seats. I did get the seats cleaned off and get them to move. It's got a lot of stuff still in there. Ripped the whole carpet out. So anyway, let me get to this thing and see what we can do. So I got the carburetors and intake set up off of the Triumph. And the only way you can get these boogers off is if you pull it off with the intake. I mean, unless you got a good enough wrench to get around there at the bottom. So my plan was to use the other carburetor intake off the parts car, but this water pump housing has a inlet right here that the intake sits into right here, and it has this T over here that your heater hoses connect to. Well, went up to the shop. I got this water pump cover housing off of the other car. See, it doesn't have that on there, but it has a different heater hose setup. It has this double heater hose that goes around to the heater core, where this one has a hose here, and there's a hose that goes into the backside of the block. Then it's like a configuration of different T's and stuff, so it's not going to work. I will have to use the original intake. I mean, I could mess around and reroute all that stuff and block off that one hose that's on the back of the head. Well, this is the intake off of the other car. And he said he went through these carburetors years ago. I just went ahead and popped the bowl off just to double check, because these things are hard to put on with the intake on the car. As you can see, this is the bottom, and there's the bolts for the bottom of the carbs. And you got some linkages. And so this is what I found in carburetor number 1. Pure dirt. Looks like sand. Looks like it's set with a little gas in it, and it turned kind of chalky. I can tell these gaskets and stuff are new. There's your float. The needle and seat looks brand new. All that looks new is just got that white chalky stuff up in there. Chalky looking. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull both bowls out and go through them, just kind of blow them out a little bit. I don't think they need to be soaked. I could just do the same for these carbs here. I mean, one of the carburetors, the floats were sticking, and the other carburetor worked fine, sort of. Which I can do the same, you know, but I know that those carburetors in there, they have a kit in them, you know, new floats and needles and seats, gaskets. So I would rather use these, just kind of do a little quick cleanup on them and put them on. So that's what my plan is. We're gonna get some kind of carburetor on this thing. But like I was saying on the intake, this one has just this one port. It don't have a T, and it don't have that port coming off of the bottom of the thermostat housing that goes into the water pump cover. So, like I said, I couldn't make this one work. Just put the whole intake on, but I think I'm just gonna pull the carburetors off and put them on the other intake, and we'll go from there. So, on with the challenge. So here's carburetor number 2. You can see it's got some chalky stuff in there. That stuff is so chalked up, bad gas. This one don't look too bad. Alright, I got the original set of carburetors in here. And as you notice, what I just noticed, these have removable plugs. This was the carburetor that was actually leaking, and I see why. It has a removable plug on the drain, well, not on the drain, but on the bowl. And that O-ring probably was just bad. So that's probably why this one was pouring gas out when we were running it. But actually, I can see some crud in there. So I'm going to pull the bowls off anyway, but as you can see, it's a little bad gas right there. So this is the more next year up step carburetor, and it don't have that. It's Got a solid bowl. Now that's when he bought the kit. It came with these new style bowls on it. But being the orange cars are 79 and the other cars are 80, they might have just changed the carburetor bowls. But this side over here is pretty tight. I don't know why you would have that. That could just fall out of there. Gas pour out and catch on fire. So I'm gonna take that bowl off and look in there and see what's up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this bowl off of there, and we'll see exactly what this carburetor looks like. It's got a whole bunch of screws. Ooh, it's blowing out there. Get up! Let's see if we can set it down right there. Oh man, these screws are tight. Usually when they tight, I mean they've never been into. One more screw. They've been on there for a while. All right. Yikes. That don't look good at all. That sucker there has got all kind of rust and stuff in it. Bad gas. That looks terrible. I wonder why the gas turned into dirt. Never seen that before. Dirty gas. Just big chunks of dirt. So we know for a fact these carburetors really have to be gone through. Look at all that stuff in there, man. That is terrible. Like dirt daubers or something got in there. I don't know. It's just full. So those carburetors need to be done. So that just gives me real in-depth reason to put those carbs on this intake, and we'll go from there. So that's the plan. Alright, so now I got the carburetors on finally. I had to end up switching intakes, switching the water pump housing cover. I got the new fuel pump that was in a box in the other car. I got it hooked up, got a new fuel filter. I haven't tried to turn it over yet. I want to see if it's going to run off the tank. So I put some gas in the gas tank, and I'm going to see if it's going to pump up out of the gas tank into the fuel filter here. Now I let all the gas gravity drain out of the gas tank when we first cranked it, so it should be empty. So hopefully the fuel pump will pick up and we can run this thing off the gas tank. So I'm gonna get in here and turn it over, and we'll see prime up. It might actually crank. Hopefully that fuel pump works. No fuel as of yet. What I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot something at the carburetors. See if I can get it to pick up. Didn't get off. Fuel pump is still not picking up. Make sure I got the core wire hooked up. Didn't knock anything off. I would have thought it would have hit off starting fluid, but it didn't. So I wonder, did we lose fire somewhere? Let's check and see if we got fire. Hopefully we didn't. We got fire. It's a baby fire, but it's fire. Triumph. Almost tripped over the tripod there. Try and open the throttle up and see. Maybe we can sneak some. We got fire. We just got to get some gas going up there. It looks like the filter is still empty. I'm probably going to have to hook up the electric fuel pump and just get everything primed, and then hopefully it will pick up. Start working. Like I said, I don't know if these fuel pumps are any good or not. I know the gas lines have not stopped up. Rainy day here today. Thunder and lightning. So, let me see if I can get the electric fuel pump hooked up, and then we'll check out the manual fuel pump. So I hooked up the electric fuel pump, and I was able to get some fuel to come up to the fuel filter from the gas tank. You can see it's full. So now we got the fuel filter primed up there. Maybe we can hook the original pump back up and then see will it pick it up. Went ahead and hooked the electric fuel pump up. I couldn't get the manual fuel pump to pump the fuel up there, so I just disconnected it and I hooked the electric fuel pump up, and we're going to see what's going to happen now. I can see that it has some rust coming through the line, so let's see what it crank up. I need to spray it or something. I don't see any carburetors leaking, so that's a good deal. Like we got fuel up in the fuel filter. Like the throttle cable came unhooked. What you did? Got a major malfunction going on here. Alright, I got my throttle cable hooked back up. Fuel pump. Still no crankage. I wonder how the spark plugs work. Don't look like I'm pulling any fuel. check it, make sure we got gas going to the carburetors. Alright, we do have gas going up to the carbs. So, try this again. Still no crankage. Thinking it does have a choke. Almost though. To try and get the choke cable hooked up, so maybe we can turn the choke on and that would help it crank up. It's kind of hard to do by yourself when you don't have nobody spinning over, but I'm going to try and get the choke cable hooked up, and then we ought to be able to get it to run. Alright, now I got a choke cable hooked up. Let's see what she do now. Got one of the brand new cables. I just got it kind of sitting right here. I'm going to put it on half choke. Which I think that is. Closing up. So what we have to do is probably rig me up a start button, hook to the starter, so I can be able to turn it over while I kind of shoot it with something. start button hooked up. That way I can feed the gas to it and stand beside it. I only got it to run on its own. Sounds like it's not running on all the cylinders, but it might be because I got the connected fuel pump hooked up. It might be putting out too much pressure to it, but it is running rich. Well, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to try and hook the original fuel pump up and then see what it run off that. I did notice that the alternator gets really hot when it's running. That's a rebuilt alternator, and you can just feel the heat coming off of it all the way up to the plug. So I'm thinking that alternator might be shortening out too. Right now I got the alternator wire unplugged. So what I'm going to do is try to hook the original fuel pump back up and see what it finally pick up out of the tank now that the carburetor's got some gas in the bowls real good. Okay, now I got the original fuel pump hooked up. I'm going to see what it run off of it. Hopefully it'll pick up out of the gas tank. Looks like it's working. I can see the gas moving there. I think not. I think that was just the vibration of the engine. I guess I could take the fuel line off of it and see what it runs. That fuel pump might just be trash. I think that fuel pump just not no good. Just not no good. So what I'm gonna do, put the electric pump back on it, and we'll put the air breather back on it and see what that make it run a little better. It is starting on its own now, so that's a good thing. I still got to run the choke cable. So we'll put the air breather on it. I put the electric fuel pump back on it, which I don't think the original fuel pump's any good. Unless we can take the line off of it See what it's squirting the gas out. A lot of gas coming out of this line though. What I could do is put like a cup up under there with a hose, spin it over and see whether it pumps into that cup. But I'm just really thinking that it's just not any good. So maybe we'll just run it off the electric fuel pump for now, and then we'll get another fuel pump and see how that works. But I might try that though. It's a sad day for the Tr7. Well, I ran this thing a couple times and all of a sudden it lost compression. I was getting like 90 psi per cylinder and it wouldn't start again. So I took the rear end pieces out to put up under the other Tr7. That's right, we got the other Tr7 here. Ran a compression test on it, and it had like 120 per cylinder. So we're going to pull the engine out of it and put it over in this one. I talked to the guy that originally had this thing. Actually, he got it from the guy that had got it from another guy. He said it didn't run right from the beginning. So it's got compression issues. I don't know if the rings are stuck, but it's got 90 psi across the board. So what I did was went ahead and snapped this one from the shop, which this one didn't have a rear end up under it because they took it out to get the gas tank out, and we went to put the rear end back in it and we couldn't find the trailing arms, so I had to take the trailing arms off of orangey orange over here. That's why I got it on the lift. I had to take the trailing arms off of it so I can be able to put the rear end back up under that one so I can bring it home and start to disassemble it. Now that engine and the other one was guaranteed that it ran because I took the carburetors off of it, and it's looking at the compression scale, it's good. So this engine in here is bad, so I don't know when I'm going to start on it, but I know I got to go ahead and snatch the engine out of this one and some other items, and we're going to send it across the scale, send it to the junkyard. And that's when you guys out there need some parts and you are close to the Memphis, Tennessee area, you can just holler at me. Maybe we can hook up, get some parts off of it before I send it to the scrapper. I mean, it's rusted out really, really bad. We looked at it and we loaded it, and the rockers are just basically gone on it. As you can see there, it's Swiss cheese. So this body is really, I mean, it can be repaired if you want to put the money in it, but I wouldn't necessarily do it. It's basically a parts car. So, but yeah, so that's the story on the Tr7s. We got this one here. We're gonna start dismantling so I can get the rear end back under that one, and hopefully we can get this thing running in the near future. I don't know when. I still got the 78 MG project I got to start on, which we got all the parts, and I got some other stuff I got to do. So it's Tr7 mayhem here, folks. But thank you to all the subscribers. Y'all keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Getting close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and we will continue to do videos and cool builds and check out some cool cars and scooters, which I haven't had time to finish it yet, but it does run. So it'll be a video on it pretty soon, real soon. So anyway, peace.